We will call to order the special board meeting for the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning, my name is Marisel Hernandez. Seated with me is Commissioner Jonathan Swain. Next item on the agenda, consideration of the agenda. Any proposed changes? If not, we'll proceed with the election day events. First is possible removal of judges. Mr. Lasker, is there anything?
No judge action yet at the moment, and we are monitoring several late openings to see if any voters had to be turned away. So far, it's looking like, even though there are some places opening late, the voters are able to stay.
Okay.
So far, so good, but we're looking good.
Okay, thank you. Next is public comment. Is there any? There is none. So I will entertain at this point, if there is no further business, a motion to recess until further call of the chair. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I will second. All those in favor? Aye. We are recessed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready? We'll call to order the special board meeting for today, Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. It is 11:20 a.m. Present with me is Commissioner Kresse and Jonathan Swain. Are there any updates to Election Day issues?
Yeah, I can update you. When we first met this morning, I was tracking several precincts that looked like they were potentially late opening issues, but at this point we can say that they're all off the list. I think that we're all fine for today. The biggest problem is a precinct that didn't open until after 10 o'clock, but with some help from the election coordinator who was there and the investigator who showed up, they were able to communicate with all the voters. We took names and phone numbers. Droopy's actually called some of the voters. I've called some of the voters. Every voter who left is going to return. There was even one voter who was, she's a nurse and has to get to an overnight shift. So she had to leave to get to her shift. We were afraid she wouldn't be able to come back at all. So Mr. Goff had suggested that we could work out getting a vote by mail ballot delivered to her at the hospital, since it was our fault, not hers, that she lost a chance to vote. So Droopy called her, and she was very grateful for the offer, but actually said that she was going to be able to have a little time to stop by the precinct before she headed into the hospital still. She would gone home and take a little nap before her shift. Okay. So all is well in regards to late closings. I don't think we're going to have any for today.
What about the judges that didn't show up to open these places?
Well, those judges will certainly be dealt with. Since they're not there, we're not going to worry about it today.
They're not there at all still? They're not?
We have standbys
Standbys out.
So, I mean, there was a lot of our system went into play here that was really good. Our judges department initially dispatched a replacement group that didn't make it. We're not sure yet why. We'll look into that. The second group was then dispatched. In the meantime, our judges department found 2 judges from neighboring precincts. They had enough judges in those precincts that they could each send one over to this precinct to get it up and running. There was a gentleman who, I'm sorry, I don't know his name at the moment, but he was just standing and waiting in the precinct, volunteering to serve for the rest of the day as an emergency judge. So when those 2 judges showed up, they swore him in as an emergency judge. One of those judges went back to her precinct. The 2 of them continued now then to start processing the voters until now the full standby team was showing up.
Okay, great.
Great.
Okay.
But Droopy does have a couple of judge removals for us.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. So I'm here to request the removal of 2 judges of election. The first is Ms. Laura Dolores Millsap, a Democratic judge from 410 East Bowen Street, who was staffed at Precinct 11, Ward 3. So we request her removal because she was belligerent, engaged in disorderly conduct, used inappropriate language in the presence of her fellow judges and voters, and further, she refused to perform her assigned tasks. So, and this behavior is not unique to today, it's a demonstrated pattern from previous elections. And thus, it is in the interest of the board to remove her as an election, or judge of election.
One at a time.
Oh, and then, one at a time, you said, okay.
Has an investigator been sent out to that location? And what did they report back?
So they reported back that she had engaged in this behavior. At present, I'm not sure where she stands, if she had left or on her own accord, or if she was escorted.
It would be the standard protocol that she'll stay there until she gets further word. The investigator will stay there until she gets further word from us as to what's going to happen.
But the investigator can back up all the claims.
Yeah, and the other election judges were all unanimous.
So you say this has been a previous history, why didn't we address this before?
I don't know exactly what it amounted to last time. There certainly are judges who, don't behave perfectly, but we don't know yet that it's risen to the level of it being an ongoing problem. I don't know the details about last time, but it was reported, some of the judges did mention that she was like this back in February.
Was it ever reported to us previously?
Yes.
It was. Okay.
If there are no further questions, is there a motion to remove Ms. Aura Dolores Millsap as judge of election?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, and Ms. Millsap is removed.
The second request is for Mr. Nicholas Ashford, a Republican judge of election from 4905 South Michigan Avenue, who was staffed at precinct 37, Ward 3. We requested removal because Mr. Ashford was late to his poll and upon arrival was impaired, whether that be intoxication or he was under a substance of some kind. And then as such, he was unable to perform his duties and was disruptive. Further, he intimidated his fellow poll workers. And I do want to mention that he voluntarily left his post. And thus, for these reasons, it's in the best interest of the board that he is removed.
So this was actually our first removal. We had this ready. The judge left at about 6:40 this morning, but because he had left the location, we decided to wait until now.
Is there a motion to remove Nicholas
Republican or Democrat?
Nicholas M. Ashford as the judge of election?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, and Mr. Ashford is removed. Is there anything else?
Not at this time.
I will hand this back to you.
Since we're here in the room, I would report I spoke to Judd from the SNS just a little while ago. He says he thinks this might be the easiest day he's had yet, knock on wood. Very few calls, and so he's feeling very good about the poll books, and I think things do seem to be off to a relatively smooth start.
Good.
The connectivity is probably the highest we've seen, so he should be very happy.
Yeah, so things are looking good.
Good. There is no public comment. Is there a motion to recess until further call of the chair?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are recessed.
All right.
We'll call to order the Board of Election special board meeting for Tuesday, April 2nd. It is 7:11 p.m. My name is Marisel Hernandez. I'm the chair. Seated to my right is Commissioner William Kresse and Jonathan Swain. Mr. Lasker, are there any further issues that need to be addressed today?
We do have 3 judge removals for this evening. I'm also currently communicating with an attorney from the CTA just to verify that the blue line is still running out there in Logan Square. That would be near the polling place that had a fire nearby it. I looked on the map though, the CTA is a good 12 blocks or so away from the location, so I kind of doubt that it's closed down.
Right.
We do not see a service alert on the website,
Right.
and so I think we're okay on that.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. So, as Adam mentioned, I'm here to request the removal of 3 judges of election. So the first is Mr. Gerald House, a Republican judge from 2715 West Harrison Street. He was staffed at precinct 27, Ward 27. So we request his removal because Mr. House was found sleeping at the polling place, and initial attempts to awaken him were futile. And then further, upon awakening, Mr. House became belligerent and disruptive, where he then proceeded to knock things over, causing items to spill off of tables, presumably. And then he proceeded to use inappropriate language and lash out at everyone who was present and refused to fulfill his duties as assigned. And then he voluntarily left the site. Thus, it is in the interest of the board that Mr. House be removed as the judge of election.
Are there any further questions?
And all of this was confirmed by one of our investigators who was dispatched to the site?
Correct.
Is there a motion to find that Mr. Gerald House is no longer qualified and eligible to serve as a judge of election?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
The second judge removal concerns Mr. Billy Golden, also Republican judge of election from 5870 West Lake Street. He was staffed at precinct 26, Ward 29. We request his removal because, first, Mr. Molden demonstrated a pattern of misconduct throughout the last two elections, and today, resulting in complaints from voters and fellow judges over this three-election period. He acted in ways that violate the code of conduct for election judges, including, but not limited to, repeatedly marketing his personal business cards to voters at the polling site. Further, he used his personal telephone repeatedly instead of performing his duties as judge, which caused voters to believe that he was recording them with his cell phone at the polling site. And then last, he failed to cooperate with all judges and other poll workers. So for these reasons, we request that he be removed as election judge.
And again, we had an investigator dispatched to the site and confirmed all of those.
Yes. So we used the report to generate the notice of removal.
But in all of your cases, you have an investigator go out and confirm, because I thought that was the norm.
I just want to put
Sure.
it on the
No, no,
record.
of course.
Exactly. In that case, I'm prepared to make a motion. I move that this judge.
Billy
Why don't you
Molden.
start? Yeah, be removed and from the office of judge of elections as of this day.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Then the last removal concerns Carl Lane, a Democratic judge from 6446 South Ellis Avenue, who was staffed at precinct 44, Ward 2. And we are requesting his removal because Mr. Lane violated the election judge code of conduct when he asked a voter to assist him, but appeared to be asleep at the desk. He had to be restrained by other judges after yelling at a voter who asked for assistance. He followed a voter to their car and pulled at the voter's car door, behaving in a manner that created concern for the safety of the children in the building next door. And then he proceeded to sit with his headphones on and neglect his duties. And then, for these reasons, we request his removal.
Was he intoxicated? Was he mentally ill?
I am reading this from Kresse.
I don't know if it really,
It doesn't really matter.
It
Yeah.
doesn't-
Okay.
The behavior is.
exactly.
Yes,
say Democrat?
Yes.
Yes.
It is Democrat. And I didn't, okay.
You have that, Adam?
That's fine.
Okay, I don't see it.
It's okay. It just, that seems to be very erratic behavior after
Yeah.
those, so it's one of those options, so.
Is there a motion to remove, Mr. Lane?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And Carl Jamal Lane is removed. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
You did a great job today.
Thanks. There will be one more at this time.
Oh, one more?
Not
Maybe
yet.
not tonight.
Oh.
Maybe not tonight.
Oh,
Might look at it next week.
Okay. Good?
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
All right, so I did just get confirmation from the CTA that the blue line is running.
okay.
Right, so if we have to, this meeting, we can now adjourn. Well, unless we want to do it at the end of the night. But we have the second meeting, which is our canvas meeting, that we need to open up to adopt the rules for the canvas.
Oh,
And that's the meeting that we then recess for the entire canvas period. So that we'll continue that meeting until the proclamation.
Is there any more business before the special board meeting at all? Are we anticipating more business?
There is one more judge removal that is in progress, but
Can that be handled at the next regular
it
board
can be
meeting?
handled, yes. So that's why I was proposing to just deal with it, so. Because it pulls it closed and that person's gone already. Yeah.
okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the special board meeting of April 2nd, 2019?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes and we are adjourned. We will now call to order the meeting of the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners regarding the canvass of returns of the April 2nd, 2019 municipal runoff and supplementary aldermanic elections held in the city of Chicago. Good evening, my name is Marisel Hernandez, I'm the chair. Seated to my right is Commissioner Jonathan Swain and William Kresse. Next item is the consideration and adoption of rules that are to govern the canvass of returns of the April 2nd municipal runoff and supplementary aldermanic elections in the city of Chicago. You've received a copy of these. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to adopt the rules?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any public comment at this time?
Well,
Hearing,
I'd like to make just one little comment. You know, the statutes give us 21 days to proclaim. For the February election, we did it in 15 days. We can't do it any shorter than that because we have to accept mail-in ballots for 14 days. We have decided again to compress the schedule for this election again, even though there's not another election coming right up. We have the Good Friday, Passover, and Easter holidays right at the end of our canvass period. So our staff really deserves some time off, and so we're going to try to make sure they get that weekend with their families. So we're aiming to proclaim on the 18th of April, even though the deadline would be the 23rd.
great. That is wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Lasker. Any other questions or comments?
Recess?
Okay, is there a motion to recess? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go call our night judge.